Fox News alert, we have to warn you, the video we're about to show you is graphic, but American citizens are being held hostage in Mexico right now. That's right, our neighbors are holding us hostage. After 4 Americans crossed into Matamoros, Mexico in a minivan with North Carolina plates this weekend. They were coming through Texas until suddenly their minivan was targeted by cartels. Shots were fired and cartels were caught on camera hauling our citizens into the back of their trucks right before driving off. Now, we don't know why they were in Mexico to begin with. The Mexican president says they were there to buy prescription drugs, but we're also hearing from another source they may have been there for something else. But we still don't have enough information to verify. All we know is that our people are still missing. The FBI hasn't heard from them, so we don't even know if this is going to be a negotiation. The State Department's now warning Americans to avoid the Matamoros, Mexico area, issuing a level 4 travel warning. The city's right across the Texas border and is controlled by the cartels. And all we're getting is a warning from the Secretary of State. And barely any peep from the president on this. The binder just says the commander-in-chief's following it.
Can you speak to the incident involving 4 U.S. citizens in Mexico who have come under gunfire and have been kidnapped?
So I have a statement here that I want to read out to all of you. We are closely following the assault and kidnapping of 4 U.S. citizens in Matamoros, Mexico. These sorts of attacks are unacceptable. She
had to read that. Now, Primetime's praying for these 4 Americans because the White House track record here isn't great. We all know the Americans Biden left behind in Afghanistan. And we remember how long Biden let Brittany Griner rot in a Russian prison until eventually he sprung her. So unless these 4 captured Americans are black lesbians, I mean, they could be in Mexico for a while. So here's the reality on the ground. If a Mexican crosses our border, they get free airfare to New York and $500 a night hotel rooms. But if we step foot into Mexico, we get kidnapped. And this all comes on the heels of Biden's visit to Mexico, remember? Where he claimed he had a strong relationship with the Mexicans. And then a month later, Americans get kidnapped. We're living next door to terrorists. And former Attorney General Bill Barr says it's time to treat the Mexican cartels like terrorists. So what does that look like? Well, let's ask the former Attorney General, Bill Barr, who joins us now. So, Attorney General, what does that mean when you say we need to treat the Mexican cartels like terrorists?
Well, they are terrorists. I think there's another hostage, and that's the Mexican government. The Mexican government is being held hostage by tens of thousands of paramilitary members of terrorist organizations that effectively control Mexico. It's pretty close at this stage to a failed narco state. They can use violence and oceans of cash to corrupt the government. The government has no will, and it doesn't have the ability to deal with the cartels. And they are sitting next door, producing mountains of poisonous drugs and killing over 100,000 Americans a year, which was at the height of World War II, that was our killed in action rate. So we are sustaining the same damage as we would in a major war from these groups operating right beyond our reach. Now, it's one thing not to be unwilling and unable to do it yourself, but the Mexican government also frustrates the United States and is not willing to stand aside and let the United States do what has to be done to deal with these groups. It's an outrage.
So if we have 4 Americans captured by cartels just a couple miles from Texas, what do we do in a hostage situation like this? And why do you think Joe Biden hasn't done more than he already has?
Well, the United States has been playing this game with Mexico for a long time. Mexico, with the exception of Felipe Calderon, who's actually interested in fighting the cartels, the rest of them are perfectly willing to allow the cartels to kill Americans and do what they do, as long as they don't overthrow the Mexican government. That's the situation we're in. They're just not willing to take them on. And it's impossible to work through the Mexicans because whenever you give information or try to work on a law enforcement basis with the Mexicans, the information goes right to the cartels. So
you'd have to do something unilaterally in terms of an airstrike, helicopter raids. What are we talking about here?
I think we have to deal with this group like we dealt with ISIS. We have to use every tool. We have to use economic. We have to use intelligence assets, military assets, and law enforcement. And we have to methodically dismantle these groups. And we have to tell the Mexicans they're either coming along with us for the ride or step aside. We're going to do it by ourselves. But I'll tell you what's unacceptable, which seems to be, the word that the Biden administration trots out when one of these outrages occurs. What's unacceptable is the status quo.
That sure is.
And we have to deal with it directly.
You saw at the top this Antifa chaos outside of Atlanta. The White House didn't even know about it, Attorney General. They had no idea. What are we thinking here? I mean, this doesn't look like it's getting any better, these Antifa people. Well,
I think the FBI needs something has to be done. My very first day in office, I met with, or the first few days in office, I met with Chris Wray and urged him to get the FBI on top of the Antifa problem. And I thought we were making some progress, but I'm very disappointed that this kind of thing can happen without the government being aware of it.
Well, I am disappointed in Christopher Wray as well. I'd use a different word, but I'm not as diplomatic as you, Attorney General. Thank you very much for joining Jesse Watters Primetime, as always.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.